Hello, my miraculous friend, and welcome to another episode of the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. This is Reverend Frances Faden, and I am so grateful that we get to spend this time together helping you to magnify your miracles. We're going to be talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. But before we get into all of that, let's take a few deep breaths together. Breathing in the energy of expansion, breathing out anything that you no longer need. As always, if you're driving, please keep your eyes open, but you can still bring your awareness to your breath. And notice how just in these few moments, by stopping and breathing, bringing our awareness to our breath, allowing ourselves to breathe in with an intention of expansion and breathe out any limitations, we start to feel lighter and we start to feel more connected to the divine presence. And knowing that you're going to hear whatever you need to hear today to help you to really magnify your miracles, to step into your brilliance, and to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Let's take one more deep breath together in gratitude, and we can begin. All right, my friend. Well, it's so good to be with you and to get to talk about a topic that's really important. In fact, it's so important that I'm going to spend the next several episodes talking about this topic in one form or another, because I think it is so important, especially right now when the world is talking about, well, the world is always talking about things from a negative point of view, but a lot of people have some fear around money right now. And you know, I started this podcast because I wanted to talk to spiritual entrepreneurs. I wanted to talk to people that I consider to be light workers. I've been looking at that word. I'm so curious. Do you resonate with that word, light worker? Are you a light worker? That doesn't mean that you have to be a healer. It means that you're someone who's here on the planet to be the brightest light that you can be, to help alleviate what's going on the planet for other people, to be a source of inspiration, and to live your purpose in a way that is in alignment with your soul and your values. So you could be an accountant, you can be a lawyer, and you can still be a light worker. Well, I love inspiring light workers. And that's the point of this podcast, is to help spiritual entrepreneurs, light workers, to be inspired on a regular basis so that they can keep doing what they're here on the planet to do, because inspiration is really important. But you know what else is really important? Is your mindset, especially around money. It's really, really important. So I'm going to be sharing with you today and over the next couple of episodes some resources for you to help you shift into a six-figure mindset. I'm going to be sharing my six-figure secrets for coaches and light workers. Now, if you're already at six figures, take some of this and see if it can get you into multiple six figures. But for a lot of people, just reaching that six-figure mark, it's a milestone. It's something that they're looking to achieve, and it's definitely something that we have to get our mind to wrap around to be able to step into it. So I will share with you the sad story, which is that in all of my years of doing the work that I'm doing, rarely have I seen people past that six-figure mark or more actually doing the work of being a light worker. I've seen a lot of people do it as business coaches. I've seen a lot of people do it teaching other people to make money, but to be actually a nutritionist or a Reiki master or the kind of lawyer that you want to be, or whatever it might be, it's rare that I've seen people actually do that. There are some, I'm happy to say that I'm one of them, that's able to say that I'm a multi six-figure entrepreneur doing the work that I'm doing. I do channeling work. I definitely do coaching work. I love the work that I'm doing, and I want to help you be able to step into that for yourself, because here's the thing. Imagine this world if everybody who was trained in whatever form of light work you were, whatever healing, whatever coaching, was actually out doing it and making an impact on the planet. That's my vision. I want to see you doing what you're here to do, writing your book, opening your coaching practice, whatever it is, teaching. I want to see you doing what you're here to do, because the universe is waiting for you. I really believe that. You've been given these gifts and these talents because the world needs you, the planet needs you. And these days, literally the planet, like we need really smart, creative, spiritual people coming up with solutions for a lot of what's going on for climate crisis and all kinds of things. Well, just imagine what the world would be like if you were doing your gift, if everybody you knew was offering your gift to the world. And again, whether that gift is helping people step into their purpose, or you're going to be teaching something, or you love to, I have a friend of mine who does fiber arts, and she's got a store, and she opened her store, and she's teaching people how to crochet and knit and do all this stuff, and she's loving it. And her little corner of the world is happier because people are using their creativity in her hometown in this really super special way. So I'm going to ask you about that. What would the world be like if you were actually doing what you were doing at the level you want to be doing it? You might be saying, well, I am kind of doing it, but if you're doing it and you're having to have a full-time job or a part-time job, which I did for a long time, I split what I was doing for a long time until about 20 years ago. I said, nope, I'm going to go full in on what I really want to be doing. And I've been doing it ever since. So I'm going to share with you today 3 tips that are my six-figure secret tips for you that will help you. And then in our next episode, I'm going to be sharing with you some very specific strategies that you can do that you can start implementing right away. So the first thing I'm going to say to you, because this is the first thing that I did to get to 6 figures, and it's going to sound like I've heard that before. Well, if you've heard it, my question is are you living it? Because if you're not living it, hearing it's not enough. Number 1, you got to make the decision. You got to make the decision that you are going to be a 6-figure light worker, that you are going to be a 6-figure entrepreneur, that you are going to be making that level of income, doing something that is your purpose or that you really, really love, whatever that might be for you. So make that decision. When I made that decision, that's what got me over into the 6 figures. Because once I made it, then I started looking for resources. I started looking for, how can I do this? What are some things I could do? How can I draw more people to me, or whatever it might be? But if you don't make that decision, you're just going to be floating along waiting for it to happen to you. So I say this in all sincerity. Even if you're making not even half that amount, make the decision. I am a 6-figure light worker. I'm a 6-figure spiritual entrepreneur. I'm here on the planet to do this work, and I am going to be well supported. And for some of you, that might be like, oh, I've never made that much money. And for some of you, it might be like, yeah, I'm pretty close to doing that. Doesn't matter. When you make that decision, your mind is going to start working towards how it can make it happen. And it shifts your energy, and it starts drawing people to you that are going to be wanting to work with you so that you can reach that goal. It's really, really important. The second thing I'm going to share with you, that's, I think, probably the most crucial thing, is to focus on what really matters. And what really matters is your energy. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. There's a lot of talk out there. A lot of coaches will talk to you about mindset. And I think that they're talking about the same thing I'm talking about. They're just talking about it in a different way. And mindset is a really left brain friendly word, right? If you're a left brain person, it's like, oh, my mindset. But for those of us who are highly sensitive, and those of us who have been on the spiritual path for a while, I like to say your energy, because your energy is comprised of your thoughts and your feelings and your actions and your attitude. It's a combination of everything. What you're eating, what you're reading, everything that you're taking in makes up your energy. And we know that the world and the universe is made of energy. We live in this field of energy. Now, I'm going to share with you something that this is my personal statistic. You don't have to believe it, but I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been coaching people for a long time. And I can tell you, when people look to do their own business, when they look to do their dream in the world, 90% of what you should be focusing on is your energy, your mindset, how you feel, how you're taking care of yourself, all of that. About 5% of what matters is your skill level. And the other 5% is your strategy, is your plan. Now, you might be saying to me, whoa, that can't be right. And I'm going to say to you, you ask any top level entrepreneur out there, and they're going to tell you, they might word it differently. They might say it's 90% mindset, but I'm going to tell you, 90% of it is your energy. 5% of it is your skill level. And then the other 5% is your strategy. How is your business structured? Do you have the right business model for you? Though they're very important. But you know what I see people do, especially light workers? They spend 90% of their energy on the 5%. They focus on their skill. They keep trying to get their skills, and they take more and more training, more and more training, more and more training to develop only what matters 5%. I'm going to tell you right now, my friend, and I'm saying this heart to heart, there are people out there who have a lot less skill than you. They have a lot less life experience than you. They're not even half as good at what you do as you are, and they're making a ton of money. Why? Because they're not focusing on 5% of their business. They're not focusing on continuing to get more and more tools in their toolbox. And I can tell you from personal experience, I know what that's like. On the one hand, we want to be more effective at helping people. We want to be better at what we're doing. I get that. But also underneath of that, there's a fear that you're not good enough. And unless you take a look at that fear, which is part of that 90% I'm talking about, you're going to keep taking classes and more classes and more classes, learning more and more skills, and you're going to have a whole list of different ways that you can help people, but you're not going to have a whole lot of people to help. It's a sad story. I see it every day. Talk to people all the time, and they don't invest in getting the help that they need for their mindset and their energy, or even the strategy. And they focus all their energy on just getting more and more techniques to use. Well, you can do that. I see a lot of people do that. There's a lot of money to be made by helping people become certified in whatever it might be. And I think there's nothing wrong with that if that's what your heart is. But I'm here to tell you, as your friend, as your miracle mentor, I'm here to say to you, that's 5%. 5% of what matters. What about the other 95%? What about knowing about the strategy that's going to work for you? Now, here's the thing. For those of you who have been listening to my podcast for a while, you know that I had my client, Emma Stratton, on about a year ago. And what ended up happening with her, she is one of the most skilled at what she does, doing copywriting and marketing, and she's a brilliant writer. But her energy was totally off. She was trying to work against how she was wired. And it was hard and nose to the grindstone. And when she started working with me, we soon realized, like, you're not wired for nose to the grindstone. That's not your energy. And it gave her permission to be who she was in her business. And she started changing some things and focusing on what mattered to her. And she started giving herself more time off. And you know what happened? Her energy went right up. She became more magnetic because she was happy, and she didn't have this kind of push-pull relationship with her business anymore. She was like, hey, I love this. I get to have downtime. I get to do this the way that works for me. I've seen this over and over again. And because she invests in that 90%, she invests in her energy, making sure that she's taking vacations and downtime and excellent care of her body and excellent care of her mind. The other 10% started taking care of itself. And opportunities came for her to switch some things in her business, and resources started coming. Why? Because she focused on what mattered the most, which is energy. That's why I'm saying to you, if you're in this field of being a light worker, you have to take care of your energy. You have to get that part of you is the crucial thing. How you feel every day. If you wake up every day and you're afraid and you're scared about putting yourself out there and you're worried about what people are going to think about you, all of that is going to hold you back. If you're afraid of being seen and being criticized, believe me, I've been there. Some days I'm still there. That's why I get support, because it's really difficult to make these changes. But to become a six-figure light worker We have to be a different person. And when I say be a different person, what I mean by that is be more who you actually are. Be more of your authentic self. We're trained from the time that we're little to become an employee, to work for somebody else, to fit into a mold. And that's part of what needs to change when you're looking at becoming the person that you're here to be, is to let go of some of that old conditioning. And it can be scary, which brings us to my third tip for you, which is you need to get support. You need to get support. And you need to get the kind of support with somebody that understands the 90% that you need the support with. It's great. I won't say it was a mistake, but I hired strategic coaches in the past that just focused on strategy, and didn't take into account where was I mentally and emotionally and even physically, like where was I? Did I have the energy to do all these things? Were these things even the right things for me to do? They look good on paper, but they didn't match who I was. And so it's great information. I have it sitting right here on a shelf somewhere. It's great information. It's not aligned with me. You have to seek out that support. Now, one of the things I'm going to say to you is, I often ask people, what kind of support do you have in your life? And they'll tell me, oh, my husband's supportive, my wife is supportive, I have some friends. Do you have somebody who's doing what you want to be doing? If you want to reach six figures, do you have somebody in your life that's already doing that? That's the kind of support that you want to get. If you're hanging out with a circle of friends and they're all up there and they're inspiring you, great. But if you're not, you want to seek that out. Now, obviously, you can work with somebody like me. I'd be happy. We could set up a miracle meeting. You want to talk to me about how to step into what you're here to be doing, how to change your energy, because that's the core thing I do is I work with people and their energy, and we work with the way that you're wired. Obviously, you could work with me, and I would love for you to set up time to talk to me if that's something that you're interested in doing. But if you're not ready to do that, the other thing that you can do is you can look to see who in my industry is doing what I want to be doing. If you want to become a best-selling author, who in my industry is a best-selling author? If you want to become a six-figure nutritionist, who in my industry is already a six-figure nutritionist, or whatever it might be, Reiki master? And then follow that person and see if you can take some of what they're doing and start incorporating that for yourself. The number one thing that's helpful about that is you're witnessing somebody doing it. And if they can do it, then you can do it. If you're a coach, who's the six-figure coach that's around you that's actually making money doing what you want to be doing, which is coaching, and not necessarily teaching coaching, but doing the actual coaching? Who do you know that's doing that? Follow that person. Look to see what are they doing that might resonate with me. Now, there's a downside to that. The downside is you're not wired like that person. So their strategies might not work for you. They might be a type A personality and you are not. But you can still get some gems. And the most important thing you can get is the inspiration of, hey, somebody is doing what I want to be doing. Now, please don't fall into the trap of, if somebody else is doing what I'm doing, that means there's no room for me. And people say this to me all the time, like, oh, I had this great idea for a book, but somebody already wrote a book. And my question is, did it sell? They're like, well, yeah, it's like a #1 book. I said, that's great. That means that this is a viable idea. Go write your version of it. Go write your book. If there are people already doing what you want to be doing, that means people want that. It's a good sign. I never see people saying, oh, I was going to go to medical school, but there's already a doctor in my town. When do you hear people say that? You never hear people say that. It's like people become doctors because they want to help people, and people are going to need doctors. Well, people need coaches. People need light workers. People need what you have, or you wouldn't want to do it. Now, next time, in our next episode, I'm going to give you some concrete things that are a little bit more strategic. I'm going to focus on that other little 5%. Some strategic things that you can do that I find to be really, really helpful that will catapult you in terms of the way that your business is structured and the success. And I'm going to tell you why it's so important. But for now, remember these 3 tips. 1, make a decision. Make a decision that you are going to be a 6-figure light worker. And that decision alone, maybe all you do is you just write it out every day. You write that affirmation out. Or maybe you want to be a 7-figure, like whatever it is, you make that decision. And then the second thing you do is you pay attention to what matters, which is your energy. You want to take excellent care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And you want to work on those beliefs, and you want to make sure that you're showing up in your business and that you're aligned with your energy. And the third thing is get the support to do that. Get support so that you can show up in your business the most authentic way with the least amount of inner resistance. How do you know when you have the least amount of inner resistance? It'll show up in your energy field. You'll also start getting results. People will start contacting you, quote unquote, out of the blue. Why? Because your energy has shifted. I've seen this over and over again. When people start focusing on what really matters, believe me, that 10% is going to fall in place like that. What can we do to help you to be more authentic in your business, to feel happier on a daily basis? Maybe you don't work 5 days a week. Maybe you only work 3 days a week. And on the other 2 days, you're doing some other things that take care of your energy. It's crucial that you do that and get that support. So I invite you, if you'd like to explore what it would be like to work with somebody like me, set up a miracle meeting, you can go right to my homepage. And actually, I think if you go to francisfaden.com/miracle meeting, it's right there. And I'd love to talk to you about why you're here on the planet. What is it that you really want to do? What's been working for you? What's not been working for you? If you're ready, not everybody's ready. If you've done the first thing and you've made the decision, like, yeah, I'm going to do this, and when I say 6 figures, please understand that if it's your dream to make less than that, if you're happy at $60,000 or whatever it might be for you, that's fine. It's a mental state. Being a 6-figure light worker means I'm living my life on my terms. I'm earning what I want to be earning. I have as much downtime as I want to have. I'm taking excellent care of myself. If you don't think that 6 figures is for you, you don't have to. Whatever that number is for you, but we want to make sure that it's the truth for you. That's really, really important. And if you're like 6 figures, I want to go for 7. Great. Because it's a similar process of making the decision, becoming a 7-figure energy person, and then getting the support that you need. Process is the same. Process is the same. All right, my friend. Well, I'm curious to hear, did this resonate with you? Are you excited about it? Is this something that you feel like, yeah, I'm ready to make this decision. I'm ready to start looking at my energy. I'm going to stop putting all of my energy into the 5% and put it in to the 90% or the 95%. That's going to make the biggest difference for me. Are you excited about that idea? I'm excited about that idea for you, and I can't wait to hear about it. Next time, in our next episode, I am going to talk with you about some strategy. I'm going to talk to you about some key things that will really make a difference for you if you're working as a coach, you're working with people, one-on-one. These are some things that have really made a big difference for me, and it's going to make you more effective. So if part of what you're wanting is to help people more instead of getting more and more certifications, try some of these things, and this will really help you. We'll talk about that next time. All right, my friend. Well, remember that the key to magnifying your miracles is to know that your miracle, it's already here. It's already here. If you enjoyed this episode, I would so appreciate it if you would share it with other people, with your friends, with your family, with other spiritual entrepreneurs that you know, other light workers that you know. Let them know that this podcast is available so that they can get the inspiration that they need. And if you're able to, it helps me so much if you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much, my friends. God bless you. Bye-bye.